The meat, produce, and grocery items you use every day by clicking the Clinton Save-A-Lot icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Peterson Insurance Services in Clinton is a 2014 Pekin Insurance Illinois Agency of the Year. Jay Peterson here from Peterson Insurance. Find out about Pekin's auto, home, or life insurance by clicking on our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
News time is 7 minutes after 7 o'clock here on this Monday. Top of the morning from the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded 7 o'clock newscast brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters. And we stream to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Here's what we have coming up for you in news on this Monday. Tomorrow is Election Day for the unfinished term of mayor on the Clinton City Council, and 5 of the 6 candidates are making their final appeals to voters ahead of the Tuesday election. Last week, the DeWitt County Board approved the new CENCOM director. That story comes up in news today. And a Central Illinois school district is bringing on an SRO, a school resource officer. That story comes up in news this morning as well. Tomorrow, Clinton residents will decide who fills the final 2 years of the unfinished term for mayor on the Clinton City Council. Candidates are making their final appeals to voters over the next 24 hours. Doug Tucker is touting his time on the county board and the issues he helped tackle then, as well as his commitment thanks to retirement.
As far as my experience, I was on the DeWitt County Board. We took on the landfill with the water issue and such. I don't mind taking on a fight. I am now retired. I have time. Yes, we have a small business, but I can work around that. And I want to actually get involved and see this town grow. I want to see this town cleaned up. We have some houses that definitely need some cleanup in this town. So as we clean up the town, people will want to be here.
Seth Reddington committed to being a transparent and truthful mayor and being there for the community.
I feel that I'd be a good candidate for mayor for the simple reason, honesty and transparency. Everything that you ask right now, you have to go find the documents. Be truthful to the citizens. Make it easy for the citizens to get the answers, whether it's building a new home, building a garage, putting up a fence, whatever it is. Be there for the community. If somebody has a question, get them the answer.
An incredible honor is how Robert Kreitler described the idea of being elected mayor. He feels he has a unique interest in serving Clinton as a lifelong resident and, like Reddington, committed to being truthful and honest with the community.
I think one of my biggest assets.
I think being a resident of Clinton all my life, I have a very vested interest in staying here. I have no reason to leave here. Leading the community would be an incredible honor to do that, and it's also a weighty responsibility. It's a responsibility I'm quite willing to take on, and it means I'm going to be listening to you. I will be your employee. I'd like you to hire me, obviously, on April 1st. I will commit to you that I will give you answers when you ask questions to me. I will also commit to you that you may not like those answers sometimes, but they will be the truth. They will be not what you want to hear, but it will be absolutely the truth that I know it at that time. And if I don't have an answer for you, I'll go get it and I'll find it for you. Some of the things that we may do, I might even make you mad. And that was a thing that a minister I know says, he says, I'll make you mad sometimes, but at the end of the day, we're going to come through this on the other side together, and we're going to build this community. We're going to make it better. We're going to keep going. So I hope you'll hire me to go to work for you on April 1st.
As the youngest candidate in the field, Kelly Harvey is touting her youth and her professional experience that could be helpful for the city of Clinton.
I think one of my biggest assets is that I'm younger. I'm very energetic. I have a lot of professional experience. I was a marketing executive by the age of 30. By the age of 34, I was a marketing executive for 2 different companies. I have experience coordinating events. I have the energy and ability to work with lots of different people of varying backgrounds and ages. Our commissioners right now are fantastic, but they're aging. I think that it would be a perfect time in a 2-year term to learn from those with experience and be taken under the wing of the other commissioners and showed how the government works. I would say I have a very deep interest in the community because I want to have my kids grow up here. I want them to raise their children here. I want to retire here. So I want to do everything that I can in my 30s when I'm younger and energetic to make that a reality for 30 years from now.
Helen Michelossi feels her professional experience is why she is the best fit for the mayor of Clinton. Like several other candidates, she also touts her lifelong residency.
I think I'm a good fit to be mayor because I have the business, administrative, and leadership experience. While there is something to be said for being younger, there's something to be said for being a little older and having that additional experience and being around the block once or twice. I've been committed to this community my whole life. Our family was raised on community service. We have provided and stepped up for this community forever. I'm committed to Clinton. As I said earlier, sometimes you need somebody who knows things and somebody who can make the hard choices and do the hard work. And I believe that's why I'm the best fit to be mayor of the city.
The election is tomorrow. Tune into regional radio throughout the evening tomorrow night as results go final, and keep it to DeWittDailyNews.com for follow-up coverage of the election. The DeWitt County Board has filled the vacancy of CENCOM director. The departure of Tony Harris from the 911 Center has been unfilled since about the middle of January. DeWitt County Board Chair Joe Whitty indicates Karen Clevenger will take over the positions of 911 Systems Manager, CENCOM Supervisor, and the Emergency Telephone Systems Board Director, or ETSB.
Yeah, so the Emergency Telephone System Board, the ETSB Board, they took the lead on doing the search for the candidate. They reviewed the applications and handled the interviews, and they brought forward, or they have extended an offer to Karen Clevenger. She's a DeWitt County resident from Farmer City. At first, we went back and forth. I say we. It's really the Emergency Telephone System Board and CENCOM boards that took the lead, but they engaged some of the county committee members, finance, public safety, myself. They went back and forth a couple different ways on how do you find somebody that has all of the qualifications that Tony had to do multiple duties, really. And so they were going to split that into a couple different positions. But, we were very fortunate. Karen's got experience that, will help fill both of those needs. When I say both, it's really the 911 systems manager that, deals with a lot of the equipment, maintaining the software, dealing with the 911 system, and then on the other side of that, the CENCOM supervisor dealing with the staffing, the scheduling and all the duties that go along with that. So she's got great experience in both. I think we were fortunate to find her.
Whitney notes much of the discussion at the March County Board meeting was to discuss the details and structure of the position. While the ETSB will cover the majority of her salaries, the CENCOM Board will be chipping in as well.
What we had to cover last night was really just some of the formalizing the way that position was going to be structured. Tony, when he was in that position, he just took on duties over the years, and it was unclear, who he reported to.
Right.
And so we wanted to get that formally documented in an agreement, and then deal with the funding. The funding for some of that position is coming from multiple sources. The ETSB covers the lion's share of that position, but the CENCOM board, which includes the county, covers a portion as well. And so, that was last night, just to finalize some of those documents and get her started. I think it's the end of this month she'll be starting. We'll be filling a much needed position.
Since Harris's departure from the Animal Control Administration position, he has been involved in the transition with the new administrator, Grace Moore. Whitty indicates while they're grateful for his willingness to help, it will not be the case for Clevenger's transition.
Good question. I know that we've got an agreement where he can be helping out, more at an hourly rate than as needed. I don't know the extent that, we've got somebody who has stepped up and is filling some of those duties, in the interim. How much they are needing to pull Tony in for the 911 and ETSB or the CENCOM issues, I'm not sure that he's being used extensively at this point. That's something that you have him there as the safety net, to help with that transition. And thankfully, Tony has been willing to do that. But we need to become less and less reliant on that. And Tony's a good guy. And I know, he'll help out and answer questions when asked, just because he cares a lot about the community. But, we can't keep that agreement going indefinitely. We've got to get people in those positions and learning, just like he did, right? You get your sleeves rolled up and, dive in. And obviously that's an important one that we can't let issues slip through. But we've got a lot of experienced people as well that, they can work through issues.
Clevenger will begin her new position as 911 Systems Manager and CENCOM Supervisor at the end of the month. She comes to DeWitt County via many years in first responder experience in Champaign County. Still to come this morning on the WHOW Morning Show. Later in sports, a Clinton High School track and field thrower brought home a state championship over the weekend. That story comes up in sports just on the other side of 7:30 on this Monday. School resource officers are often more than just police in schools. They're people for the students to connect with. Cheryl Warner, superintendent of Warrensburg-Latham Schools, explains the partnership between the school district and the police department is a critical function to the success of their buildings and those within it. That's why they're partnering with local law enforcement to hire a school resource officer.
Yes, so I thought this morning would be a good time to kind of review where the district is at with this. I've been working collaboratively with the Village of Warrensburg and the Warrensburg Police Department Chief throughout this year with the initiative of us attempting to bring on a school resource officer in the district starting in the fall. And we're making gains towards that program. The thing that I think that is so critical about this is not a decision that's reactive because of discipline issues we're dealing with. It's more proactive and preventative. We've gotten to the phase in schools right now where this collaboration with police departments and sheriff departments is just so critical for prevention and for overall safety and security of our campuses. So we right now are working in the final stages of drafting a collaborative agreement between the village and the school district. And we're hoping that by the end of this month, we have a formal posting going out for the position with a potential hire of an individual in April and then a start date where they're beginning their training in May. Because it's kind of a lengthy process. This individual will have to go through the actual National School Resource Officer training, as well as some of the unique training that the district has asked of the village to kind of pursue for our SRO officer.
The job of a school resource officer is not to be at the school ready to arrest a student at any moment. It's to provide mentorship to students. Warner notes in some ways they're even a teacher.
One of the key things with school resource officers is the mentorship that goes on, right? So you're exactly right. It's that role model. Not only are they a police officer, but they're a mentor and they're also a teacher for our students in multiple capacities. It's not meant to be punitive or fear-inducing. It's really meant to be in a partnership as well as forming that collaboration and just good, strong relationships about safety and prevention. And we would want our SRO officer to have daily access to students in a positive capacity, greeting them every day at the door, saying goodbye to them as the day ends, being available in lunchrooms for social and casual conversation, and just building those connections so that if there ever is a concern, whether it's related to an investigation that needs to occur or a report, those students are feeling comfortable going to not only that SRO officer, but the partnership with our administration as well. We have so many avenues for students to report things in a confidential manner and an anonymous manner But even if they don't have a trust, that's not going to happen, right? And so that's critical to build that relationship.
Once the new SRO has their footing in the school, Warner would like to see them assist in and teach the DARE curriculum to students. She also notes cybersecurity training is on their list of priorities.
It is. It's a stage that we would like to get to once our SRO officer has gone through the training. We don't at this point know if it's going to be an experienced SRO officer or somebody new to working in schools. But yes, those are some of the initiatives that we'd like to include. If we kind of looked at a prioritized list of the specialized training that we would like our particular officer to have, we would like cybersecurity training, investigations to be at the top of the list, right? That's so helpful. And unfortunately, it's not as widely accessible as we would hope, not only in schools, but also throughout police departments. We would also like some de-escalation training. We would love for our SRO officer to kind of follow our safety philosophy and also become an ALICE trainer and an I Love You Guys trainer, which are topics that we've made some significant progress in the future. And then, yes, like you said, also being used as a classroom resource for some of those prevention programs.
Warner encourages anyone interested in the SRO position to keep their eyes out for the posting. Get more information on Warrensburg-Latham schools by visiting wl.k12.il.us or follow them on social media. News time is 22 minutes after 7 o'clock here on this Monday morning. Still to come in news this morning, just after 7:30 in local sports, a Clinton High School track athlete brought home an indoor state track meet state championship over the weekend. That story comes up in sports again, just on the other side of 7:30. A quick break, back with more after this.
We value your trust in us. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton. Yes, our goal is to earn your trust each and every day. That's why we have prices posted for each car, truck, and SUV, new or used, on our lot, or on our website. Currently, we have a great selection of new and used Silverados priced to move in 1500, 2500, or 3500s. Come see us and all our inventory. Baum Chevrolet Buick. We want to be your trusted transportation option. BaumChevyBuick.com, right from the start.
News time is 23 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Monday. Again, I'm Seth Lawrence with you folks today for this expanded local newscast. Schools across the state could save on their power bill thanks to a new program by Ameren, Illinois. The utility says the program, Public Schools Carbon Free, aims to eliminate extra energy usage and reduce costs for school buildings and district facilities. According to Michael Pittman with Ameren, Illinois, the program is free to schools around the state and in some cases has already saved schools thousands.
Carbon-free assessment program provides public schools within the Ameren, Illinois service territory a comprehensive no-cost energy assessment. It's designed to help the schools reduce their energy costs and transition to clean energy. The program evaluates both the interior and exterior of each school building and all other district facilities, identifying cost savings opportunities and energy efficiency strategies for the schools. The schools receive a data-driven solution that optimizes their energy usages, helps them implement sustainable upgrades and work towards a carbon-free future. Schools often uncover both immediate and long-term energy savings opportunities that can lead to substantial cost reductions. Some of the common recommendations that are included in our assessments are upgrading outdated heating systems to modern high-efficiency heat pump technology, sealing and weatherproofing windows, exterior doors, etc., to prevent energy loss, insulating mechanical piping and equipment to reduce the operating costs. And then we also look at installing rooftop panels to harness solar energy potential and lower electricity expenses. Each school district receives a customized report detailing these and other energy efficiency upgrades.
You can visit Ameren, visit AmerenIllinoisSavings.com for more information. According to Pittman, one success story is in Cuba, Illinois, where the carbon-free assessment program saved the district $1,700 a month in energy bills. The assessment is available to K-12 public schools in the Ameren, Illinois service territory. It's always local food season in Illinois, but farmers markets ramp up in the spring and summer, says Illinois Farm Bureau's Regella Scavuzzo.
So we partner with Market Maker to run a statewide local food and farm directory that is free for businesses to put into. And this is the place that consumers, businesses, everybody can go shop by geolocation, shop by product, shop by affiliation. So if you want to know if they're a Farm Bureau member, or if you want to know that they or a veteran, you can search by that option. If you need to find a farmer's market or a farm stand, you can search that way. And it's a shared API. So one farm is a free profile that goes across platforms. So Department of Ag has their map now. So if you go to the Department of Ag website, you can find anybody that's in their Illinois grown or their Illinois product. You go to specialtygrowers.org/shop local. There's even now buy sell features where people can post products that they really need to move. But this is your way to connect with farm and food businesses across Illinois.
Visit il.foodmarketmaker.com. That's il.foodmarketmaker.com. A sophomore at the University of Illinois is the American Star Farmer nominee from Illinois. Nathan Spangler hails from the Bushnell Prairie City FFA chapter. He says his supervised ag experience goes way back.
I mean, realistically, I kind of started this, I guess, when I was about 8 or 9. When I started showing cattle in 4-H, because that's when I first started my cattle herd, and I just continued to grow it over the years between adding show calves, and then also I bought a handful of just replacement heifers to continue to grow my herd. Then once I got into high school, I went ahead and started raising some corn and soybeans. And as the years went on through high school and into college, I expanded to wheat and hay. And right now, I am actually doing all the hay, not only for myself, but for the rest of our farm. And then selling that back to my father and grandfather.
The American Star Farmer is named at the National FFA Convention in Indianapolis in late October. News time is 28 minutes after 7 o'clock, on this Monday. Time now for a look at this morning's obituaries. 59-year-old Susan Mary Dion Brooks of Hayworth passed away on March 15th. A celebration of life for 59-year-old Susan Mary Dion Brooks will be Saturday, April 5th at the Hayworth American Legion Post 624 on Main Street in Hayworth. The celebration will be held from noon to 4. Military honors will be conducted at 3 o'clock. Memorials can be made in Sue's memory to Ronald McDonald House at rmhc.org. 74-year-old Russell F. Davidson of Farmer City passed away Sunday, March 23rd at Carl Foundation Hospital in Urbana. Cremation rites for 74-year-old Russell F. Davidson have been accorded. A visitation will be held today from 4 to 6 p.m. at Calvert Belangi Bruce Funeral Home in Farmer City. In lieu of flowers, memorial donations can be made to the Russell Davidson Memorial Fund in care of First State Bank of Forest in Mahomet. All memorial donations will go towards the care of his wife, Jackie Davidson. 39-year-old Enrique Alvarez of Bloomington passed away at St. Joseph Medical Center in Bloomington on March 27th. Services for 39-year-old Enrique Alvarez will be at 10 a.m. Tuesday, April 1st at Calvert Funeral Home in Clinton with Ken Rutledge officiating. Burial will follow at Lisenby Cemetery in Lane. The visitation will be from 5 to 7 p.m. this evening at the funeral home. In lieu of flowers, memorials can be directed to Abel's Education Fund. News brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters. We stream to Facebook and YouTube. Brought to you by Peterson Insurance. A look at sports is next.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. President Trump calls it Liberation Day. It's Wednesday, the day when Mr. Trump imposes reciprocal tariffs on other countries, including some major U.S. trading partners and allies. The president says he's heard this over and over again. We wish you could serve a third term. Mr. Trump says he's looking into that, although it's way too soon to discuss it in much detail. The Constitution's 22nd Amendment states that no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice. When it comes to weather-related power outages, Michigan leads the way at last check, about 248,000, the result of a punishing ice storm and other severe weather that hit parts of Michigan, along with Wisconsin and Indiana. The earthquake death toll in Myanmar, approximately 1,700 now. On Wall Street this morning, the Dow futures 326 points in the red. More details at srnnews.com.
You should too.
With SRN Sports, I'm George Williams. It was not a year for Cinderella teams in this year's NCAA men's basketball tournament. For the first time since 2008, all of the favored top seeds in each of the regional brackets reached the Final Four. In yesterday's play, in the Midwest, Houston beat Tennessee 69-50. In the South, Auburn, a winner over Michigan State 70-64. And these games came after Saturday's results when in the West, Florida beat Texas Tech, and in the East, Duke beat Alabama. So the Final Four matchups coming this Saturday will be Auburn against Florida and Duke versus Houston. In the NCAA women's tournament, you have USC and UConn, Texas and TCU playing for the final two spots in that tournament. For their Final Four, UCLA and South Carolina are already in the Final Four. In the NBA, you had the Cavaliers over the Clippers. Knicks beat the Trailblazers. Pelicans and the Hornets. Raptors beat the 76ers. More scores coming up. This is SRN Sports. And in your remaining NBA action was the Hawks over the Bucks. Warriors down the Spurs. Rockets beat the Suns, but Kevin Durant hurt his left ankle during that game. And in the game where the Timberwolves beat the Pistons, 5 players and 2 coaches were ejected because of a fight. NHL winners: Canadians over the Panthers. Sabres beat the Capitals. Jets down the Canucks. Utah over the Blackhawks. Penguins shut the Senators out 1-0. Hurricanes over the Islanders. Maple Leafs beat the Ducks, and it was the Sharks winners over the Kings. Major League Baseball: Yankees down the Brewers. Nationals winners over the Phillies. Blue Jays beat the Orioles. Rays over the Rockies. Marlins beat the Pirates. Giants winners over the Reds. Angels beat the White Sox. Guardians beat the Royals. Cardinals winners over the Twins. Rangers beat the Red Sox. It was the Diamondbacks with a 10-6 win over the Cubs. Mariners beat the Athletics. And the Padres swept the Braves. In pro golf, Min-Woo Lee won the Texas Children's Houston Open, one shot better than Scotty Scheffler and Gary Woodland. And in NASCAR, Denny Hamlin wins your race. This is SRN Sports.
Time now for a look at sports. I'm Seth Lawrence with this report. A Clinton High School track and field thrower took home a state championship this weekend. Abby Moser won the Class 2A Indoor Shot Put Championship. After 5 throws, she was 10th in the field, but her final throw was not only a personal best, she set a school record on the throw, while unofficial track coaches estimate 2 other state champions for the indoor season from Clinton. Clinton's 4x800 relay team of Emery Hemphill, Lydia Cahill, Avery Fothery, and Aubrey Peterson finished 10th and set a school record for the indoor meet of 4x800. Clinton begins its outdoor season slate this week with a home conference meet with Central A&M. Kyron Paris homered on the first pitch he saw after a lengthy rain delay, and the LA Angels rallied to beat the Chicago White Sox.
The Angels jumped the White Sox with 2 quick runs in the top half of the first in the finale of the season's opening 3-game set at Wright Field, but leadoff hitter Nick Maton wasn't fazed by a quick deficit.
Pitch. Maton hits one high and deep, right center field, and it is gone! Leadoff home run, Nick Maton, and they're on the board in the first.
The Sox tied it up at 2 as the game cruised along before a 2-hour and 48-minute rain delay halted and dampened a potential Sox rally. The Angels went on to win 3-2. The Sox look to turn things around Monday afternoon as they welcome the Twins to town with a 1:10 first pitch. Pre-game coverage starts at 12:30 on the ESPN 1000 Hard Rock Casino White Sox Network.
And the Sox return to the WHOW airwaves on Tuesday. Victor Scott and Pedro Pajes each hit 3-run homers to propel the Cardinals to a 9-2 win over the Minnesota Twins on Sunday. Nolan Gorman homered for St. Louis, which swept the series and is off to a 3-0 start for the first time since 2006. It marks the 17th 3-0 start in franchise history, covering 134 years. Willie Castro homered for the Twins, who lost their first 3 games for the first time since 2016. The contest was halted by rain for 58 minutes in the middle of the 5th inning. Pages had 3 hits. Alec Burleson added a 2-run double for the Cardinals. Andre Palante gave up 2 runs on 4 hits over 5 innings. Steven Matz tossed 4 scoreless innings of relief for his first career save. The Cardinals' longest winning streak to open the season is 7, which came in 1962 with wins over the Mets, Cubs, and the Phillies. Cardinals right-hander Miles Michaelis faces Angels left-hander Tyler Anderson in the first game of a 3-game set in St. Louis, starting today. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. hit a game-tying 2-run homer. Josh Naylor added the go-ahead RBI double, and the Arizona Diamondbacks used an 8-run 8th inning to rally past the Cubs 10-6 on Sunday. The team split the 4-game series. Pitcher Ryan Nelson pinch hitting because the D-backs were out of bench players, put Arizona up 8-6 with an RBI single through a drawn-in infield. The Cubs brought in another reliever, Colin Ray, but Alec Thomas made it 9-6 with an RBI single, and Corbin Carroll's double made it 10-6. The Cubs took a 6-2 lead in the top of the 8th on Kyle Tucker's 3-run homer. Chicago's Saya Suzuki made it 3-0 with his first homer in the 6th off lefty Eduardo Rodriguez, shaking a 2-for-21 start to the season. Chicago's Matthew Boyd gave up 4 hits, 3 walks, and 5 scoreless innings while striking out 5. Rodriguez gave up 3 runs on 3 hits and 3 walks, striking out 5. Justin Martinez got the win with a scoreless 8th. The Cubs face the A's on Monday in Sacramento. Chicago will throw right-hander Ben Brown while the A's counter with Joey Estes. Denny Hamlin ended an agonizing 10-year winless streak at his home track of Martinsville Speedway, holding off teammate Christopher Bell in his home state to secure a spot in the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. Hamlin, who was raised a few hours away in the Richmond suburb of Chesterfield, leads active Cup drivers with 6 victories at Martinsville. But Sunday was his first checkered flag on the .526-mile oval in Southwest Virginia since March 29th of 2015, and his first win with crew chief Chris Gale, who joined the 11 team this season, with the 55th victory of his career, tying NASCAR Hall of Famer Rusty Wallace for 11th on the career list. The 44-year-old is also snapped a 31-race winless streak since last April at Dover. Bell, who leads the Cup Series with 3 wins in 2025, finished second after starting from the pole position, and Bubba Wallace took third as Toyotas swept the top 3. The Chevrolets of Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson rounded out the top 5. Hamlin had to survive 4 restarts and a few strong challenges from Bell in the final 125 laps at Martinsville that produced the typical short track skirmishes between several drivers. The most notable multi-car accident involved Toyota drivers Ty Gibbs and Tyler Reddick, who had a civil post-race discussion in the pits. Joey Logano was collected in an incident with Chase Briscoe that caused the 10th and final caution. The 3-time Cup Series champ put the blame on Ross Chastain for squeezing Briscoe, who then ran into Logano while trying to get back at Chastain. But Bubba Wallace tied a season best and improved to 8th in the Cup point standings, but was left lamenting his lack of speed on restarts after being unable to put pressure on Hamlin. 2 hours after the race, NASCAR officials announced Eric Jones, number 43 Toyota, was disqualified for failing to meet the minimum weight requirement. Originally credited with 24th, Jones was reclassified to 38th and had 18 points deducted from his total. NASCAR also took the cars of Jones and Ty Dillon to its R&D center for further inspection. The Cup Series will race next Sunday at historic Darlington Raceway, the South Carolina track that will celebrate a throwback weekend, which encourages teams to feature vintage paint schemes and crew uniforms. It's the first of the 2 annual races on the 1.366-mile oval that dates to 1950. Brad Keselowski won last year's throwback race. Chase Briscoe won the Southern 500 in September. Get sports anytime from your computer or mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com.
This is staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your regional radio forecast. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Today, with daytime highs approaching 51. Northwest winds